Alright, hey, this is Caleb, and this is the first of my three 3D designs that I eventually come to print. And this is the first draft. My original idea that I came on was to do the Vision Tech logo on a small keychain piece. And it started out with just doing it on a little 1.25 squared little tab, essentially. And I was impressing the text on it, which when those didn't work, I tried to size it up with this shape you see here. But then I come to figure out later that every time I indented this text, it just would not want to print it correctly. So I finally just realized, you know what, I'm going to go and do the reverse. So I extruded this half the distance of the surface it's on, or, double up on this inner area here. So when I did that, I finally got a working model. So I came back in and spruced it up. So I just threw the text along the bottom of it, extruded all the way through, brought this down to be thinner. I just offset the ellipse pretty much that made this outer rim. Brought that down a little bit and then extruded the text up so it popped out that distance to make up for it. And just filled at all the edges and such. And we have printed probably like 10 of these, gave them to the senior class and all that. That was here, not everybody. But I think this is probably a really successful first useful project, I guess. It's something that people are actually using. Then after doing all that, I just decided to try to just come up with something that I wanted to build for myself. So I decided to make a little ornament to hang off the rearview mirror of my old pickup. So this was fairly easy. I just went online and pulled up some small measurements on how to measure out the dimensions of this shape here. And the only thing that gave me trouble was the little tab to put your string or wire through. See, it's just got a hole all the way through it. The only problem that gave me really was when I first did it, I did it square and it was too brittle once it printed, so I just took it off the thing and it broke. So then I decided to come in and fill at the top edge of it to give it that archway and thicken up the walls a little bit. And that way it actually gave some good strength. So I actually have this one I have printed and hanging in my truck. And it looks pretty nice there. So that was just a nice little day project for me to do for that. And the last one I did here, just gotta get to let's see here. For that same vehicle, it has side marker lights. So I decided that I wanted to make covers for it with my motor and my rear end gearing on it. So this would be the front one here, which 123D Design has a text tool right up here that allowed me just to slap down some text on it so it'd look real neat. So the only problems that I was given here was really just measuring the edges of the side marker. I had to go over and then drafting that. I just didn't know how the measurements kind of translated out, how they measured the curves and how I measured the curves. And then when it came down to actually printing it, the problem came with it's too big. The printer prints 5.5 cubed. And this, on just the x-axis pretty much, is 5.95. Or about that, about 6 inches. So I had to split it just after this hole right here, so right about there, and then I made little tabs shooting out the small piece and indentions in the larger piece for those to slide into so I could at least fit it. So since it didn't work the way I necessarily planned it out, I think I'm going to get the whole piece put together and probably get it to somebody who can CNC it out of aluminum. And I know some people personally, so I'll probably have that done, but otherwise, if I could have printed this whole thing out at once, I would have probably already called it a done deal, because it would have looked real nice in black, I think, which is what I've been printing all my stuff in. because it goes with everything, obviously, but I think overall my 3D stuff has been fairly successful. I'd go around this a little bit more, but the program seems to be freezing up a little. But yeah, I would definitely want to do more of this in the future, because the drafting is, I think, it's kind of fun to figure out how to do it and what to do with what. It's kind of hard to describe how I find it fun, because some people think this is super boring. But I like drawing up an object and making it become a reality. You know, this is just a picture on a screen, really, but I can go make it a physical object, which I think is great. So those were my 3D designs I've been working on the last few weeks, and I am signing off.